Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. Today, we're going to reflect on our journey with Capable Images. We're going to discuss why we built it, the challenges we faced, and any surprises that we got. What made our solutions unique and what's next. So for this session, each of us is going to share insights from our roles, product development and marketing. So let's dive in. First of all, why did we choose to build Capable Images for Confluence? And I think, James, you should answer that one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we wanted to build capable images because we identified a problem that affected not only our team, but we saw that it affected a lot of other people's teams as well. So managing images was a recurring headache for us. Assets were scattered across Slack, Google Drive, email threads, hard drives. And this was just really time consuming, and the inefficiency with that slowed us down and created those unnecessary frustrations, especially when trying to find that file quickly, and sometimes would just lead to people losing files. So the solution seemed pretty obvious to us. It was, let's find something that can centralize our image library. And since Confluence is already the platform our team consistently was using for documentation, collaboration, knowledge sharing, it made perfect sense to integrate image storage directly within Confluence. But yeah, there was no solution existed. So that was when we knew that there was a gap there, one that Confluence users like us would deeply benefit from filling. So we decided to build capable images to transform the way that teams could store and manage and use images. And so, yeah, it was designed to solve a real world issue, enabling teams to save time, improve collaboration, bring clarity to the image management process. But yeah, the decision was also guided by a purpose to make life easier for teams by addressing that pain point, because we knew the frustration that digging into multiple platforms to find a single image created. Yeah.
And can you give some examples of systems that we've been using to share files with each other?
Yeah, well, usually we'd try and use Slack because it was often the mode of communication that we were already on. But then there's a problem there with, you send someone something on Slack, you then try and look for it days, weeks, months later, and it would be really hard to find it. Also, there's a problem with even putting in a search into Slack. You could be provided with a few different iterations of that file, or maybe it will pick up on a keyword with another file that isn't even the one you're looking for. And there's also the problem with sending larger files over Slack. It wouldn't allow us to. So then we go onto something like Google Drive or WeTransfer, and that would just get lost in an inbox. So we thought it would really benefit from just having everything in one place, which was easily findable. And as we will discuss in a bit, an area where we can put things into folders, properly categorize our storage, and find things a lot more seamlessly.
Great. So I'll move on to the next question. This one's for me. What makes Capable Images unique? So I think from our research, it's the first and only image asset management solution built in Confluence. It eliminates the need for costly external tools like Adobe and Slack if you're going to send messages on there with images. And it actually brings all of these straight into Confluence, where usually as a company, you're already writing all of your content in Confluence anyway. So it's just a perfect match, really. And with the powerful organization features that we've added, like folders, teams can easily sort those images into folders like headshots or logos or banners that make it really easy to find what you need. And additionally, I think that the ability to reuse those images in the editor directly from the editor using the slash key really streamlines those workflows, reduces the repetitive tasks, and like James said, stops you having to hunt for all these images that's scattered everywhere. At least for me, my hard drive's full of images. So next up, I think this one's for you, Jeff. What were the biggest challenges that we faced during development of the product?
Yeah. The challenges were, of course, quite many, but the most difficult one was probably the complexity of APIs we had to interact with to facilitate the kind of storage that we want to have in a secure manner. As we don't really want to pull any customer data off platform, store it somewhere else, or store it in like any kind of ephemeral manner where it might disappear or it would be vulnerable to external attack. It becomes quite complicated to figure out intermediary formats and data processing pipelines that are pretty impervious or to like fault or that have fallback mechanisms that are long-term stable and recoverable in case of any kind of corruption. So you'll need to have multiple layers of data storage and multiple methods of detecting data so that you can detect data that's partway through a process or they want to recover into a correct state. So that was all quite a lot of work, but I think we got there in the end. And now finally we have a good safe storage solution where in as many cases as we can, we don't need to touch the customer data. It's pretty transparent. As much of it happens fully within the Atlassian APIs as much as we can leverage. And I think that was something we had to overcome and something that was a big challenge, but I think we got there. And that was a pretty big win in my book.
Brilliant. And a follow-up to that question. How do you think Atlassian Forge, the new development platform, improved your developer experience?
Yeah, so that made it very easy for us to deploy and test new solutions, new fixes, new features in a production environment without us having to do a full rebuild or a deployment somewhere with additional like staging costs for, let's say, complete new AWS instances, new security keys, and all this other, let's say, sort of boilerplate work you have to do every time you want to start something up. And also means we can work in parallel with the whole team, with everyone testing it and doing modifications on their end or running a specific version without it causing an issue for the whole team or multiplying our sort of development and deployment costs. So that was a big win. And then the security that's sort of inherent in the Forge platform, where it's all sort of in a bubble, it's kept secure, it's per customer. That was also a really big win for us. So that removes a lot of that sort of worry and anxiety you often have when you're touching data that can be this sensitive, let's say, where you don't really want to take ACID data, move it off platform for processing, and then move it back. The fact that it's all happening on their servers, on the client, all in a safe manner is, I think, a really big win for us. And I think that's where Forge really sort of shows its strength. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like the fact that none of these images ever leave the customer's site. They're all stored actually natively on Confluence. That was a big win for us. Some other solutions around sharing documents, they actually host them maybe in an S3 bucket on their own infrastructure. And we wanted to avoid that, of course, didn't we?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Next one, I think this one's for me. Did we encounter any surprises or scope adjustments during the development? I'd love to say the answer was no. Unfortunately, life doesn't tend to work that way. And so the big one I want to cover is basically we initially had folder support as an extension, like a stretch goal for this Codegeist entry. And we were actually only going to allow you to upload images in a space or globally. But actually, when we tested the app, once we built our MVP, we realized very quickly that the folders was actually pretty essential for categorizing things. Like having one big lump of like hundreds of images just wasn't really scalable. So yeah, that led to us to adjust the scope and actually extend our development time on this feature to add folder support. And we're really happy now, I think, that we can have a headshots folder with all of our faces on it, or banners, YouTube thumbnails. We can actually categorize all of our images together. And at least for me, I can finally get those images off my hard drive, and it's somewhere where actually you guys can all access them. Brilliant. Okay, let's move on. I think this is for you, James. So how are we going to actually market this Capable Images product to our potential customers now?
Yeah, yeah. When we think about marketing Capable Images, we want to focus on connecting with people on maybe an emotional level, really, looking at the frustrations and the pain points that they're facing, and doing it through a story, being able to tell a story that they can relate to, they'll really connect to, and to find out these perfect scenarios, to show Capable Images in full action. We went about creating some personas. So personas are, a bio effectively of, types of people. It could be a role, or even a kind of a broader bracket of different roles. So we made some such as Aziza, the implementing IT admin. So he's sort of IT administrator. Casey, the insightful leader, so sort of CTO, strategic partners, and people like Morgan, the knowledge builder. So she's more kind of technical contributor, software developer, content writer, customer success manager. And all these different people and these different roles, they'll have different use cases for Capable Images and different frustrations that they'll be coming across. So, imagine someone who's managing a team or a project. They'll be juggling timelines, organizing updates, trying to make sure everyone's, got the resources they all need. And for them, Capable Images is a way to bring structure to that chaos. And also from an HR standpoint, kind of make everyone, all the employees, have an easier time, minimize stress, make everyone have kind of a happier workplace. And so that sort of one centralized place to store and access all these visuals, it keeps everything running smoothly. The knowledge builder, such as, that Morgan character that I created, their role sort of focuses more kind of writing documentation, creating content, maintaining these technical spaces. So these people need to make sure that everything is kept consistent and accessible. And this is where our metadata feature comes in a lot of handy. If you're someone who is a photographer, and you've been putting images on, you've been using Photoshop, by having that metadata information there, you can view, the kind of lens, the camera, if it's been edited on Photoshop. You can even include a link there to, a source for an editing run that you did on Canva, perhaps, so that other people can access that file on Canva. That helps people from that kind of content creation side a lot more happy and a lot more streamlined with their workflow. And then you got people such as the creatives and the marketeers who need to come. We're connecting with all these people through conveying the stories through the marketing. So this will be done through blog posts. This will be done through videos where we explore these different use cases, tutorials to show the kind of more technical aspects of how the app actually works. And of course, all this will be on our listing page on the Atlassian marketplace as well, with links to such, and our documentation. So it's about kind of linking people in our marketing through having this initial emotional pull, and then taking them through to the necessary information so that they can kind of make that decision more informed and learn from our use cases. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one thing that comes out from that is you you can use our tool even if you're not intending to use it to insert images on pages, right? It could just be used to store images and share them with your team. And then there's the other side, which is people actually writing content that can use the slash images to actually insert those images on pages. So it actually opens us up not just to content writers, but to creatives that want to share their content. Yeah, nice one, James. So yeah, last question. What's next for Capable Images after we've gone live with the Codegeist? Jeff?
Yeah, so there's quite a lot in the pipeline. Some of that is more confirmed than the rest, and some of it's more like exploratory, seeing what's the market demand, what do people want, sort of what's the ROI on the sort of time, how difficult is it to implement? Are there things in like the upcoming features from Atlassian to Forge or the Confluence platform that would make it even easier or give us the ability to do a better solution for a problem? We got to explore that as well to sort of see what goes when, sort of, to these issues. But things that are pretty much confirmed are like drag and drop, let you pick up basically an image and drop it in a different file on same space or a different space. So if you want to, let's say, drag an image from, let's say, the uncategorized sort of pool of images into, let's say, banners, because you now said this is a banner, you could do that. And maybe you want to click on it and rename it. We want to have some better editing tools in there as well to let you easier move files while you're viewing it, and maybe add some additional metadata down the line, like let's say a dedicated field for sources, etc. That is something we're exploring right now. Sort of make it more intuitive and give data a sort of dedicated space, so you're not just putting everything into a description. That is something we're exploring as well. And then we're currently working on improved filtering, so let you filter by, let's say, aspect ratio, who uploaded it, when was it uploaded, a bunch of other fields that we're currently indexing. We just need to sort of make that data part of the sort of search parameters that we're interacting with. So those are things we're working on. We're also working on viewing attachments and images that are already in your content. So if you have images put on pages or attached to pages, spaces, or in any other content that you have on the page, if a user can view that, they can search for it. And we hope to have that quite filterable as well, so you can view it in a certain space from a certain user, when was it made, etc., to really give you that ability to discover what's already on your space. Because often I would say that's a bit of a black hole for people, where they don't really know, what do we have already? When was it uploaded? Maybe I know, oh, there's that perfect image out there I want to find. I don't know where it is, but I do remember, let's say Jack uploaded it 2 weeks ago. I put those filters in, bam, got it in front of me. Now I view that, right? And I can download it through there. I can do a lot of other interactions with that. I think that's something that people probably want to have. That's something people are looking for. And hopefully, I think that will be a great extension to what it already does. And then we're also looking for some new ways of sort of viewing and previewing images, maybe like a light box that you can click on an image to preview it sort of full screen. New ways of showing, like, how would I even call it? Sort of the gallery of already existing images, the catalog of them. And we're thinking about different ways of showing that while still maintaining the sort of ease of use and the sort of natural usage of our current layout, while increasing the information density and sort of making it visually more appealing. So I think there's quite a lot in the pipeline of things we're exploring, but I think it's going to sort of get it that extra step even better.
Yeah, and I think some of these are stuff we're actually hoping to get the users' feedback before we implement them. I know one thing that springs to mind is the metadata. Like we currently show the model, the manufacturer of the camera, if it's taken with a camera, the lens that was used, and also if there was an editing tool like Photoshop or Canva, it's shown. But there's nothing stopping us showing like GPS data or any other kind of data that's stored there. But I think currently we're not sure about the privacy implications of some of those. So we want to wait and see from the user's feedback, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that was really, really useful, really interesting retrospective of our Codegeist entry. I hope everyone enjoys the app, and we'd love to hear your feedback. Just get in touch with us. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.